Hello everyone. Guy Dude 439 here. I know this Iceberg topic has been muddied to death and is just really popular as it stands. Honestly, I was surprised to have not found any pixel gun Iceberg videos on YouTube. Well, not English ones anyways. Because I have been a very long fan of the game, I decided this went right up my alley. The image I have today is from Reddit. Credit goes to user P8OWL. Anyways, with that said, let's continue to the image. 3-cat spam. 3-cat spam is a superbly popular playstyle in pixel gun. To sum it up simply, it is the art of shooting 3 or more non-delay weapons, most of which reside in the sniper, backup, and special categories. Many popular YouTubers use this technique, and the fan base as well. Vaulted weapons. Vaulted weapons are weapons that have been removed from the game, and are no longer purchasable or usable for that matter. A lot of the time, they are normally really broken or unfair weapons. A very good example that we all know of is the Judge, a manual guidance rocket launcher, and the Big Bullet Bazooka, which was infamous for its homing missiles. Removed maps. This one is self-explanatory. They are maps that have been removed from the game. I believe it may be because of storage or server cost issues. Or if you want to be more out there, I guess, you could say that it's because of Releaseoft's habit to steal maps from more popular franchises like Call of Duty and FNAF. Some other maps are unknown to why they have disappeared. Old weapon designs. Many older weapons that are still present in the game had strange, if not completely different weapons designs. There used to be a feature where weapons would change design upon upgrading, such as the prototype. Hacked clans. Hacked clans are clans that exploit the game for their own benefit. Sometimes they would have more members than the member limit allowed. Other times they would have a ridiculous amount of valor. I am not sure the cloud really harkened much more than controversy. An example of this is the previously top clan Virus and the currently top clan Waterfall. They are accused of being toxic and unethical to their members. Speaking of Virus, nobody knows where the clan is now. Gem in Pixel Gun Office. When the map, Pixel Gun Office, was released in the 16.0 update, one of its most notorious features was a gem in an elevator. Whenever you got close, the elevator would close on you. Many speculated in how to get the gem, or if it was even possible. It was later revealed through some game exploitation that is a fake gem. I guess the pixel gun thieves are just trolls. Reskinned guns. I believe what the image is talking about is gun skins. Some of which are exclusive to events, while others are just expensive but always available year-round. They don't really add any boosts to the weapon itself, but they make you look pretty cool, not gonna lie. Old out-of-bound glitches. If you don't know about this topic, you are clearly too young to be on YouTube. C.A.K.E. Anyways, this was extremely popular back in the prime days of Pixel Gun 3D. When the game wasn't very keen on its barrier physics, people found countless of ways to squeeze through corners and walls of the maps, thus sending them out of bounds. Sometimes, there would be interesting things that was outside of the map. Other times, it was just instant death. An interesting example of this was when the YouTuber, Exotic Gaming, got out of Slender Forest and made his way to the crashed helicopter way outside the game's intended play zone. Really cool if you ask me. Maps being remade. This subject brings us back to the last few topics. Really, it's just countermeasures for the development team to patch up glitches. However, one of the most interesting instances of this was the Hell Fortress cross. For those of you who don't know, Hell Fortress had a large cross that used to be occupied by a blocky man, most certainly referencing Jesus dying on the cross. Really strange, if not controversial. Time survival. I believe this is in reference to a beta testing game mode that was very similar to co-op survival. The objective was to kill enough monsters without dying before the timer runs out. The player with the highest score would win the game, very similar to co-op survival. I think the only difference was that time survival took place only on the nighttime arena map. PG 3D lore. This is in reference to the sloppy lore of Pixel Gun. The premise is that the world was turned blocky due to a binary glitch that the developer made. Essentially, the entire game is focused around this bug. Other meanings may be in reference to the gun descriptions in the gallery. A lot of them are very comical in nature, but some speak of default, reoccurring names and places, none of which are seen in the canon game. Portalius. Portalius is associated with the Portalius weapon set. This includes the primary, the melee, and the overpowered sniper, all of which have a purple, touchy color scheme to them. Some have speculated on what exactly Portalius is, as it is all also referenced in the prototype. Many theorize that the wizard in the campaign is Portalius, as he does send the main characters through a portal, and his dark mage wand is purple and black in color scheme, much like the Portalius weapon set. But even then, there is already a Portalius player skin. It's interesting, but I doubt the developers put any more thought into it as we did. Ghost randomly appearing. This event was hyped up to a huge degree when word got out about campaign for finally being released. Almost days prior to its launch, sightings of a ghost girl, specifically that of the girl in campaign, was seen in maps like Night Christmas Town and 3018 Parker City, dropping a Rubik's Cube and disappeared thereafter.
Whoa. Look at that. She drops it.
Her appearance rated were at random most of the time though. Deeves changing the company name. This is in reference to the countless times that Pixel Gun changed its brand name. The most popular examples were Illusoft, Cubic Games, and Pixel Gun 3D. However, more unknown names include Strobeast Limited and Alex Krensov. I am not sure as to why they changed their brand so often, or if they are actually different companies. It eludes me. Online Daughters.
Okay, I really don't know why it's just daughters, but oh well.
We all know about Online Daughters. They are cringy and we try to stay away from them, especially on a children's game. It was a large problem back in the day when there was no sandbox mode where they could go to be weirdos. It was hard to find a private lobby back then that was filled with family role players or just goofy kids. 20,000 people ban wave. The super popular ban wave of 2016 was a very vulnerable time for Pixel Gun. It was intended to cut down on hackers, but their definition of hacker was a little bit too broad. A lot of innocent players were banned, some even at random with no explanation. It caused a lot of outrage, and truly highlighted the game's unstable nature. Premium section. Ah yes, the good old days, when the heavy section used to be called the premium section. They had some weapons which are now classified as heavy, but also some melee weapons. I can understand why they had current day special weapons in the premium section, seeing as the special section didn't exist back then, but they had a melee section. So I am not sure why weapons like the pig hammer was in the premium section. Battle Royal Tombstone. This has been discussed a lot less than I feel like it should. Behind the lighthouse on Small Isle was a tombstone that simply read, "RIP Weapon Designer." I feel like this is just to pay tribute to the former weapon designer, but I'm not even sure if, whoever they were, is dead. And why is it hidden in such an obscure corner of the game? Permanently removed guns. This is essentially the same as the vaulted weapons. However, there are some guns that were torn out of the game's files, and you couldn't even hack them back in without just creating a brand new version of it entirely. An example of this, which I really wish wasn't the case, is the snowball rifle. It wasn't overpowered or anything, but I don't understand why they got rid of it. Desert Fighter. This was a strange mystery in the Pixel Gun community. Apparently, someone had a screenshot of the combat rifle, but with a camo skin, and renamed the Desert Fighter. Even the developers have come forth and said that it wasn't an obtainable gun, but many argue that it is a cover-up for a lost gun. Again, it wasn't all that special, but this gun seems to be very elusive and possibly doesn't even exist. XX Silent Beast Gamer XX. This was a Pixel Gun YouTuber that did Minecraft and Pixel Gun content a long time ago. A lot of it was clickbait, but I believe he was one of the most elusive YouTubers in the pixel gun community. His videos were random at most, and he looked older than he sounded a lot of the time. One of his most infamous videos was a 3 AM video that capitalized on the 3 AM pixel gun trend at the time. It wasn't interesting, but the only reason people know about it was because the obnoxious jump scare at the beginning of the video. That probably explains the large number of dislikes on a video. Blow's Gaming. This one hits close for me. Blow's Gaming was mainly focused on pixel gun content. His channel, however, became more well known at the time he made 3 AM clickbait videos, which at least had more effort than the aforementioned Silent Beast Gamer. At some point in time, he had completely vanished from YouTube, and everyone wondered where he went. Eventually, he came back after 2 years, explaining how YouTube had built up a lot of stress on him, paired with school and trying to find career for the future. It was really sad to see this cheery YouTuber now exhausted and disheartened from his YouTube career. Eventually, a large portion of his videos were privated, and a lot of his newer attempts at making content just flunked, and he ended up privating them too.
This is a certified hood.
Helmets and potions. These were items that could be bought a long time ago. You could buy helmets for armor and they just looked cool. And potions were purchasable items that could be used only once during battle. They had varying effects. I believe they took them out as to avoid more lawsuits with Mojang. As for the helmets, they were scrapped, but some were left as hats which didn't provide armor, but increased players' stats.
Pixel Gun World. This was an extremely mysterious game that was in beta for a bit. It had the same look and feel of Pixel Gun, but with different guns and maps. People actually highly praised the game, but that it where things get weird. A lot of people had actually paid for in-game currency and weapons, only for the game to be scrapped completely not long after. To this day, nobody knows exactly why they cancelled the game, but if I had to guess, it was likely to budget reasons. Some others have said that Pixel Gun World was one of Releasoft's habit to make backup games, in case Pixel Gun failed at some point. Seeing that Pixel Gun is one of the most popular mobiles games, however, they ironically ended up scrapping their backup games, leaving only a few left that nobody really acknowledges. Still, Pixel Gun World was a big mystery, and there are still canonical references to the game in Pixel Gun 3D. This includes maps and guns, like the Double Dragon weapon and I believe the Arabian Dust map. Boss Battle Mode. I have never actually heard about this mode, which I find interesting. But if I had to venture a guess based off what I saw, it was a scrapped gamma mode that let you replay the several bosses from campaign. I think Arima might have some relation to this gamma mode, as you encounter a number of enemies in which you previously fought in campaign mode. Jack Frost Miner's PG3D review. So, this could lead to 2 videos. Both made 7 years ago. The first one was of, I believe, one of the first versions of Pixel Gun 3D. He was rather harsh on the game, calling it a Minecraft rip multiple times, and I don't blame him. His second follow-up was after a large update that added more maps that I have never seen before, mind you, and this was a more positive review. I don't know what is so special about this review is specific, I believe it may be related to the fact that it was one of the first reviews on Pixel Gun, if not the very first. I should also mention that the channel is actually an inactive Minecraft channel, seeing as Jack Frost Miner has left YouTube 2 years ago.
Today we're going to be looking at a Minecraft clone, Pixel Gun 3D, the Block World Pocket Survival Shooter. This is a cool game, but we will see if it is worth your time and money in this first look quick review. I played this once before, so it's not a quick look, but you basically get the controls here. Here we have a pigman, but I'll talk about the controls, then the graphics, and some other stuff. But the graphics aren't too bad. The animations, on the other hand, are really bad. So, the graphics you can see here, it's Minecraft graphics, so obviously it's not going to be incredible. But I don't know what this was inspired by, like Mario or something? I don't even know, but there's a token on the top of one of them.
Mojang tried to sue Pixel Gun 3D. This one is actually quite popular and sort of funny. Mojang believed that a lot of the textures on the game overall was a direct rip from Minecraft, and this is actually sorta true. However, I feel that it is funny that Pixel Gun had garnered enough attention that Mojang themselves tried to sue the game. Pixel Gun literally had to change several weapon textures and names, like the Demont Sword to the Knight Sword. If every franchise that Pixel Gun has ripped off of came up to Pixel Gun trying to sue them, Pixel Gun would likely be buried in thousands of lawsuits. The game had stolen from so many different franchises, it's ridiculous. HD skins. Back in the day, and I mean way back, there used to be ways to hack HD skin textures into the game, which were very realistic in comparison to the normal customizable skins. There were thousands of tutorials on how to add them to the game. Not much else, but still obscure to an extent. Now for some extra entries. I have a long history with Pixel Gun, and I feel like there are some things that are worthy of being in this video too. So anyways, here are some extra entries. Whispers in Slender Forest, ice cream truck music, and baby laughing in Silent School. Slender Forest has had a lot of mysteries and myths surrounding it, much of which included the old tunnel and some controversial locations. But the thing I feel like was missing from the Iceberg was the whispering near the red tree. When you got really close to it, you could hear whispering. This feature was taken out and added many times into the game. Another instance of this was the ice cream truck in the city campaign. The music is really creepy, but it seems to have explanation behind it. The finale instance of this was the creepy baby laugh in the upside-down room in Silent School. That one shook a lot of us up, as it was completely unexpected. Gun in the portrait, image behind the TV. Another one that is popular among the Pixel Gun Mythbusters fans, there is a picture in Christmas dinner that portrays the newbie with some unknown gun. It is black and white, so nobody knows exactly what it is. Another strange picture is the one behind the TV in the first level of the campaign. It is a grassy field with an unidentified object within. Still not sure what it is.
Family theory, toy theory. This theory stems from the belief that the newbie had a family, and the evidence comes from the campaign farm level. There are 4 plates on the table, and furniture that is blockading the stairway, as if trying to protect someone up there. Speaking of the campaign, there is also the belief that the entirety of the campaign are just a kid playing with toys. The evidence to support this is that many of the vehicles and props in the campaign can be found in the sandbox maps. And the map Ants Life takes place in that same house. It's far-fetched, but has some merit.
808. This entry is very obscure, unless you are a big fan of the Pixel Gun 3D Mythbusters series. There are a number of helicopters in the game that all have the number 808 on them. I am not sure why, but they do.
Claw. Claw is a playstyle that uses 4 fingers and is extremely difficult to pull off. Players like Bridger5 and Esoteric use this, with their shoot button high above the movement stick. It's hard, but quite fun. 16 Children Theory. In case you didn't already know, Silent School has 2 classrooms. One of which has 9 desks, the other has 7, including one of the teacher's desks. If you go into the large room in the back and count all the hanging cages, you get 16 bodies. Kind of twisted for an Easter egg, honestly. C.A.K.E. In World 4, Stage 2, the boss of a robotic factory with lasers and stuff is dubbed C.A.K.E or C.A.K.E. I believe it is a reference to Portal 2, but kinda cool. O.X Bad Code. O.X Bad Code was a weapon that got removed from Pixel Gun. It was the reward you got from defeating the final level of World 3. Though its damage was next to nothing and nobody used it for combat, it was insane for its rocket jump capabilities. Nuke. This was the title of one of Pixel Gun's first video, showcasing their stolen map Nuketown, where once every match, a nuke would go off and do damage to you for a brief period of time. This video is no longer visible on YouTube. Well, that about does it for this video. Honestly, I feel like so many things could have been done better, and so many things could have been added that just weren't. So if you guys are really interested and want to see a part 2, I will be happy to hear suggestions. Thanks for watching, I will see you around.